Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Sorry I've been gone for a little bit. I've been dealing with family visiting from Kansas and West Virginia, so apologies for that. However, now that things have kind of cleared up a little bit, got some time to myself. I'm able to actually stream and record some videos, so let's get to it. This video comes from Vara Dark. And, seems like PlayStation has the bright idea of wanting to revitalize the market with live service games after killing Destiny 2. Let's give it a watch.
Only a few days ago, we heard that Sony was going to be doubling down on live service swap, and basically every single gamer on social media rejected this. We have made our thoughts and opinions very clear on live service, and yet they still think that the marathons and the Concords and the fair games are going to be profitable. Newsflash, they're not going to. And the response online has been brutal. So many gamers and even the media is now wrecking PlayStation. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, you would think, after putting billions of dollars into this garbage and losing billions of dollars on this garbage, that they might wake up and say, you know what, we need to take a step back. And I get that there are live service games out there that are extremely profitable. Everyone wants the next Fortnite, everyone wants the next Apex Legends, everybody also had wanted the next Destiny.
Yes, Sony. Shocker, gasp, shock, horror, lightning crackle, lightning crackle, lightning crackle. People wanted more Destiny. We wanted a Destiny 3. You weren't gonna give it to us, and probably aren't gonna give it to us, for many, many years. Missed opportunity. Which, quite frankly, I'm gonna be point blank blunt with you. Do you like setting piles of money on fire, Sony? Because based on your recent actions and performances with live service games, it seems like you don't care taking a, 500 million here, 250 million here, couple billion here, and just, setting it on fire. And the communities around these games, i.e. Destiny, it is my favorite game of all time. The universe, the art, the skyboxes, the world, the environments, the enemy races, just the lore of Destiny. I don't think there's really any other game out there aside from maybe Elder Scrolls that has this type of lore, this type of storytelling that Destiny has. And you squandered it. It's shocking to me that we're shutting down Destiny, but allowing Marathon to continue with its piss-poor performance.
And we know that Sony has killed that off, but they don't understand what made these games successful, what made them popular, and what keeps players coming back. And so, when you have teams of, let's use Marathon for argument's sake, 400 people, and half of those people, probably like 70 or 80% of the developers, but I'll be generous and say 50%, don't know what it is that makes a game fun, don't know how to make a good gameplay loop, or good cosmetics, or a good aesthetic, or just a good experience in general, they're going to lose money. Sony spent $3.6 billion on Bungie thinking that Destiny was going to be alive for many years, Marathon was going to be a smashing success, and neither.
Marathon was never, ever, ever going to be a smashing success, by the way. Marathon is a Bungie game mode, not a Bungie game. If it were a Bungie game, it would have had a single-player campaign mode that you could sink your teeth into to learn the universe, the lore, and everything around it, with an extraction multiplayer mode attached to it. That's if Marathon was actually going to be crafted to try and be a secondary IP that Bungie could work on alongside Destiny. But that wasn't the case. They only made an extraction game mode, and it's biting them in the ass. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but when you make a niche genre even more niche by adding even more hardcore mechanics than Escape from Tarkov, you're bound to shoot yourself in the fucking foot. You can only get so many players interested with the type of game that Marathon is. And that's what saddens me, is a game that was so broad in terms of its audience. You know, Destiny 2 sold roughly 5 million copies. That has way more callback than a measly 1.2 to 1.5 million copies sold with Marathon. All Destiny had to do was another Forsaken level expansion, or another Final Shape level expansion. I don't understand the fall from grace that Destiny had. It's almost like it was done on purpose. Or there's an underlying revenge plot from Sony to end Destiny in favor of Marathon because they're a little pissed off that their egos got a little stomped on by Pete Parsons. Ironically, Justin Truman leaves as soon as all of these layoffs happen. And we're nearing, the date of the final money being dished out to those who were part of the Sony acquisition. I'm starting to think that Justin Truman got his golden parachute. So, this under-delivery mentality. We don't want to over-deliver, guys, because they'll expect more. No shit! That's what happens when you please your fan base. They want more. They stay. They crave. They yearn for more. But you sowed a mentality in the entire studio to be weary of over-delivering for your audience. That mentality only breeds failure.
Of those turned out well. I think that they should have continued going forward with Destiny 2's development and actually released the extra content we heard they ended up canceling. Or they should at least be working on Destiny 3.
Destiny 3 should have already been in development. Well in development. Because I'm going to be honest with you guys, the Final Shape should have been the capstone for Destiny 2, with Destiny 3 being on the horizon, because, let's be honest, Destiny 2, as beautiful of a game as it is and as smooth as it runs, the engine is definitely dated. It plays and runs kind of like a 2017 game, maybe because that's the year the game came out. Let's be honest, guys. Destiny 3 would be really good right now because of the engine upgrades they've made over the years. That'd be incredible to have right now. And if we ever do get a Destiny 3, I hope Bungie and PlayStation understands that we are going to expect a fuck ton of launch content. Because of the cliffhangers that were left in Destiny 2 with the most recent update. You know, the final live service update to Destiny 2 left a big thread that I am pissed off we will never get to explore unless Sony decides they want to stop this petty bullshit with Destiny. You know, the thread I'm talking about, guys, is the fucking winnower. The winnower. Yeah. That was the Fate saga, by the way. Is we were gonna eventually bump heads with the winnower directly. I cannot fathom the retardation from Sony. I can't. It's unbearable and I cannot wrap my head around it.
Don't really know how they're going to bank on Marathon for the next several years, but we know that this isn't just like a one-time crazy situation. Look at Concord. They spent in total between purchasing the studio and putting more money into it and the marketing, $500 million into that entire scenario just to shut the game down less than 2 weeks after release, lay everybody off and say, yeah, we're going to wash our hands of this situation. You will forever be dunked on for that. What are they doing in the future? They're trying to release fair games. We haven't even seen anything surrounding that. We just know that Sony acquired Haven, that Sony actually thinks that this is going to turn out to be good. I mean, even Jade Raymond had left because she's like, yeah, I made a bunch of money and I'm going to dip. Though they think that fair games is going to be a good scenario for them. It's just mind-boggling that the leadership doesn't know what people want, developers don't know what people want, or they choose to ignore what it is we want. And live service games have been totally rejected by gamers, though they are refusing to listen to us. PlayStation says live service games can help revitalize the market, which, by the way, the problem that is going to hit the industry now isn't that people don't want to buy video games or that people are uninterested in video games. It's that, first of all, you're releasing slop games that nobody wants. You're releasing bad content or ideologically driven content, but
video games are supposed to be a place of unity, not sow division within the media. Politics do not belong in video games. Video games are supposed to be a source of entertainment, not political messaging. As you can see, all the studios that have ever supported, like, the LGBT, they're getting dunked on. They're losing a fuck ton of revenue. And rightfully so, really. You cannot sow division within your video game communities and expect revenue to keep piling up. It's not going to happen.
But prices. Nobody wants to spend $80 to $100 on a standard edition of a game. Nobody wants live service.
If I'm spending $80 to $100 on a video game, that game needs to be good. Especially now in this economy. I used to buy games that just looked interesting to me. I can no longer do that. Which sucks because there's a lot of games that have looked, like, rather appealing to me. But if it's gonna break the bank, I can't do it, man. Not unless I know absolutely for sure that I'm gonna get a fuck ton of playtime out of it. Like, Grand Theft Auto 6 is that one rare game that I can be like, you know what? Yeah, I can invest the money here because I know I'm gonna play a fuck ton of it. It's Grand Theft Auto. Of course I'm gonna play a shit ton of it. Like, But when it comes to, like, all these other games, I remember the day where games used to cost $60. Brand new. That was affordable. $70 was, alright, I can do it, but I would rather it be 60. But whatever. But now we're going to the 80 mark. I don't know about that one, Chief. You have to... The quality needs to match the pricing, okay? If you're pricing your game at $80 base edition, the game needs to reflect that in the quality. Maybe that's why Marathon is a $40 game. Is because it's actually dog shit. I would know. I played it. I got the Platinum Trophy on Marathon. I haven't touched it since Season 1, by the way, guys. I refuse to. Because the game is dog shit. And they selected Marathon over Destiny. I am protesting against Marathon and refusing to ever touch it again until I hear a Destiny 3 is on the way. Oh, but you need to play Marathon if you ever want to have hope for a Destiny 3. Or they could cut their fucking losses and tell Sony that we want to develop a Destiny 3 regardless of what you want to do. Believe it or not, guys, sometimes the executives in Sony or Xbox actually are testing the developers within the studio to see if they have a fucking spine. Okay? Do these developers at Bungie have a fucking sign? Do the developers in Bungie have a spine? Probably not. There were probably some of them that argued with Sony and all of that. But if I was in the position and I had my biggest flagship IP being canceled because they wanted to go after a game that's already dying and back a game that's already dying, right? Yeah, the first thing I'm telling the Sony CEO when they come into the office is, no, we're backing off of Marathon and we're making a Destiny 3, whether you like it or not. Hey, you know, Sony, I don't think you understand. I'm the decision maker for this studio. Like, that is the level in which you need to put your sack on the table and tell Sony, fuck you, no. The community has spoken. If we ignore them, they will never come back. You need to actually slap your dick on the table, and you need to just put it all out there and say, look, Sony, if you like making money, this is the avenue we need to go down. But if you enjoy burning money, we can continue supporting Marathon. Nobody else is buying the fucking game.
Nobody wants predatorily monetized games. Nobody wants online only multiplayer extraction shooter experiences. Yes, these games can be successful, but 9 times out of 10, they are not going to be. And now they plan to continue investing in them, saying, we believe that live service games are content that attracts users on a global level, always chasing that global audience. So we want to continue to revitalize the market through both first-party and third-party content. Ah, yes, guys, because I'm certain Horizon Hunters Gathering is going to make them a boatload of cash and revitalize them, and gamers have rejected this.
Yeah,
PlayStation is obsessed with flops. Keep adding to the catalog. Concord trilogy, and it's Concord.
Yeah, I reject it because you're gonna say we want to revitalize the market. Meanwhile, you had a Golden Goose live service game that was only on a downward trajectory because of the decision-making processes of the fucking upper management at Bungie wanting to basically, in my opinion, sabotage Destiny 2. Nobody asked for the portal, and nobody asked for fucking Matterspark. Okay? Matterspark, dog shit mechanic. Whoever in Bungie can't... seriously, from the bottom of my fucking heart, I mean this with every fiber of my being, whoever in Bungie came up with the idea of the Matterspark mechanic and the portal mechanic being introduced into Destiny 2, they need to be blacklisted from game development forever. Fired, blacklisted from ever making video games ever again. Because how can you be so out of touch and so retarded that you design mechanics that no one asked for? Oh, well, these would have been mechanics inside of Destiny 3. Well, buddy, okay. Stop. 'Cause what the fuck? No, you're not doing that. Bro, I wish I was the head of some of these studios, because, oh my god. Oh my god. If I was in charge of Bungie, Destiny 3 would absolutely be getting greenlit right now. Because I wouldn't give Sony a fucking choice. Oh my god. I would literally unplug all of the servers in the fucking studio holding Marathon up right now, and I would hold the game hostage. I would say, until you greenlight us working on Destiny 3, we are not plugging in the servers for Marathon. I would hold the game hostage, bro. I would tell Sony, look, we can't figure out why the servers aren't working, but we could have them up and running if we had a Destiny 3 greenlit. Granted, it would probably never work, but let's be honest, bro. Marathon is already on its way out. It's already on its deathbed. And that's pretty much all I got to say on this entire thing. Is like, Sony is unequivocally and undoubtedly retarded when it comes to making decisions in regards to what's going on here. Okay? Sony, there's no way that you believe that Marathon is the play right now. No way at all. No way. No way at all. I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a second. Greenlight Destiny 3. Maybe cancel Marathon. And cut your losses, because that's honestly the smartest move you can make right now. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna leave it there. Take care.